The machine is ready to work. The controller is plugged in and connected to the computer via USB. The program was installed. The COM port was installed correctly. The plywood was installed in the correct position. And now let's figure out how to use the program. Run the program at the moment of launch. The tip immediately begins to warm up. Therefore, it is important that the tip is on the metal ruler. If the tip is on the plywood, it will immediately begin to burn through the plywood. There are several indicators and buttons in the program. The indicators above X and Y are the current position of the coordinates. In other words, the origin 00 is the upper left corner of the image. As we see the image in the program, it will also be burned on the machine. The next indicator is the estimated burning time of this image. This picture has a size of 306 to 204 mm. You can see it from the bottom of the program. The program calculated that this photo will be burned for about an hour and a half for A4 format. The program counts the time itself. If you click on an image, you can select a different one. Choose a picture with a hedgehog. The program counts the time this photo will be burned for 53 minutes. The next indicator is the temperature. On the screen, 68.36%. These are percentages, not degrees. This is the adjustment of the current that heats the tip. To change the temperature, you need to hold the T key on the keyboard and hold it down and press the plus or minus button several times. One click on the plus button increases the temperature by about 1/3%. The normal range for this machine is from 68 to 70%. Can be more or less. When selecting the temperature, you can look at the color of the tip. Now the tip has a silver end and a slightly red horizontal part of the wire. Now I will raise the temperature much higher. Let's say up to level 76%. You can see how the tip begins to heat up more and becomes bright red. At this temperature, the plywood will burn very dark. Defects may appear when burning out. In this mode, the tip will need to be changed more often. And you will need to clean the thermal head more often. Therefore, we will return the temperature to the level of 70. The tip is not so bright now. The next parameter is speed. For version 3, the PyroPrinter has a speed of 2.7. We do not recommend raising it higher. Defects may appear in the image. The speed value is a relative. In the version of PyroPrinter 1, the speed was equal to 1. Now it is 270% higher. Control button. If you click the Start button, the image will first be loaded into the memory card in the controller, and immediately after that, the image will start to burn out. If this image is already in the controller, the burnout will start immediately. The pause button stops the burning process. The tip returns to the ruler. The tip remains hot. The machine will wait for the following instructions. The stop button differs from the pause button. If it is pressed, the tip returns to the ruler and it stops warming. In this position, the machine can be left unattended. We assume that the machine is similar to an iron or soldering iron. They are safe on their own, but you can't leave them unattended for a long time. This button is the shutdown mode. If the button is in this position, the program will turn off the machine and the computer after the burning is complete. In this position, the machine will finish burning, the tip will stop heating and the program will wait for further commands. Next, the button for calling the program's help. The last button is the settings of the program. When you click on it, a window with characteristics appears. The upper setting field is the machine pitch. 0.35 mm. This means that the machine draws one line and then moves 0.35 mm down and draws the next line. The second field of settings is the COM port number. That is, the number of the USB port, which we told you about in the lesson installing the program. All that is below is the Wi-Fi settings. There will be a separate lesson on this topic. Under the Start, Pause and Stop buttons there is an indicator that shows the size of the image in millimeters, and the size in pixels is written in brackets. If desired, you can change the image size directly from the program. To do this, hold the Shift button on the keyboard and click on the image. The program offers to change the size of the uploaded image. After that, the program will recalculate the size and time of burning. You can also rotate the image 90 degrees. To do this, hold the Control button and click on the image. Tap 190-degree turn. Let me remind you that we burn images along the wood fibers. Here the last indicator is manual mode control. By default, the manual mode step is set to the minimum step. The step is changed by pushing buttons F1, F2, F3 or F4. Or buttons below them 1, 2, 3 and 4, which duplicate the buttons in the top row. This is due to the fact that the buttons F1, F2, F3 and F4 on laptops are often in functional mode and call other commands on the computer. This is the control of manual movement of the machine. Button 1 or F1 is the minimum step. It is enabled by default. Button 2 or F2 is a half of millimeter step. I press button 2 now and the indicator has changed to 0.5 mm in the program. Button 3 or F3 is a 10 mm step. Button 4 or F4 is a 100 mm step. What does it mean? Now I press button 2 and the step we have is half a millimeter. After that, I press the buttons with arrows up, down, right or left on the keyboard and the tip moves this distance. One click on the arrow button is one shift for half of millimeter. 4 clicks down moves the tip 2 mm down and Y coordinate became 2.0. If I need to move the tip to a certain point and reset the coordinates. For example, I want the upper left corner of the image to be here. After moving, I press F12 and the coordinates are reset to 0. On laptops, sometimes the F12 button has a functional mode. To reset the coordinates in this case, click the FN button. The coordinates will also be reset to 0. Buttons 3 or F3 are the same. I press this button and click one time on the down arrow. The machine goes down. Pressing up, the machine goes up 1 cm. I will not press to the right, otherwise the tip will hit the plywood and leave a trace. Now we have everything ready and we can start burning it out. Before you start burning your images, we strongly recommend that you try to burn the images that are included in the package. Included with the machine is 2 pieces of plywood. You can try to burn 2 images that match the format of these boards. They have already been processed in the photo editor. The size of the images is slightly smaller than the plywood, so that there is less chance of an error during the first burning. As you learn to work with the machine, then you will start to burn your images. Now I have uploaded a picture of a hedgehog. And there is also a second example, a picture of a swan. For example, I will put a picture of a hedgehog to burn out. The image is loaded. The tip is hot. The tip is at the starting point. I press the start button. At this point, the program sends the image to the memory card inside the controller. When the loading process is complete, the machine will start burning the image. Then I can use the computer freely. The image is already loaded into the machine's memory card. I can even close the program. Please note that the indicators in the program have changed. The top indicator is the percentage of work completed. The second indicator shows how much time is left until the end of burning. Right now, 2% of the burnout is complete. I turn off the program. I can also turn off the computer completely. The computer is not currently active. If I need to stop the burning, then I again run the program PyroPrinter. My computer is slow. The program runs longer for me, because the video recording program runs in the background. And as you can see, the program itself reads the information from the controller. A 3.5 completion rate is shown. This data is already received from the controller. Now I will translate the camera shot frame by frame so that the camera records the entire burning process from start to finish. The burning process is over. At the end, the tip returns to its starting point along the ruler. When it stops, the tip will turn off. The burnout is over.